Good morning, one and all. I take this opportunity to introduce today's guest speaker for AICT IST Induction Program, Engineer Shekhar Jevurkar sir. On behalf of AG Patil Polytechnic Institute, I am Mr. JP Pinzar, lecturer in Mechanical Engineering Department. Welcome today's speaker, Engineer Shekhar Jevurkar sir, who is a chartered engineer, Dr. M. A. Chobole sir, coordinator and principal of Polytechnic Wing, Mr. J. M. Jakatia, vice principal, and Mr. S. K. Mohite, head of Mechanical Engineering Department, my colleagues and dear participants. Today is the sixth day of this induction program on research paper writing and IP rights sponsored by AICT IST New Delhi. Here is our guest sir brief profile. Shekhar Jevurkar sir has completed BE Metallurgy from Government College of Engineering Pune in 1982, completed Diploma in Business Management from Shivaji University Kolhapur in 1989, completed ME Mechanical Production Engineering from Walchand College of Engineering Sangli 1998. Also completed Diploma in NDT from Government College of Engineering Pune in 2004. He has a very vast industrial and academic experience. He worked as inspection and quality control engineer for 3 years in KSB Pumps Limited, Pimpri, Pune. Also, he worked for 3 years in Shivaji Works Limited, Solapur as a line manager in foundry. He also worked as academician and was very popular professor. Worked in SSTJ Polytechnic, Bale, Solapur as a lecturer in production technology for 3 years. Selection grade lecturer at Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur in mechanical engineering for 21 years. Associate professor in mechanical engineering at NK Orchid College of Engineering and Technology, Solapur for 3 years. He is a corporate member and chartered engineer of Institution of Engineers India, life member of Indian Institute of Metals, life member of Indian Society for Technical Education, certified ANST level 2 person for liquid penetrant test. He has received patent on low-cost bio-waste fuel briquettes and method of its manufacturing thereof from Indian Patent Office, Government Office, India. He also held position Post Honorable Secretary, Institution of Engineers, Solapur Local Center from 2014 to 2016 and committee member for last 11 years. He also held position of Executive Council member, Indian Institute of Metals Pune, chapter in 2021-2022. Sir has a tremendous experience in the field of metallurgy testing areas like heat treatments, foundry defects analysis, and gating system methodology, NDT, material selections, microstructure analysis of metals and alloy. Being as a consultant, he consulted to Solcast Precision Limited MIDC, Chincholi Solapur, Maruti Products Limited MIDC Kolhapur, metallurgical consultant at Indian Meteorological Department IMD Pune. Such a versatile personality is going to guide us today. I welcome you, Jayurkar sir, and request you to start the session on intellectual property and artificial intelligence. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very good morning to all of you, the participants. Initially, I am very much thankful to the management, then the principal, head of department, and the coordinator for giving me this particular opportunity to interact with you people on a very important topic of IPR and artificial intelligence. Now, before starting the topic, let me first give you the breakup of this particular part. In the initial stages, we'll discuss about, say, for example, the history of a mankind. Then later on, we'll enter into the human engineering approach of a human being with reference to the other animals and the livestock on the earth. In the next part, we'll consider what are the specialities of a human being as a specifically thinking power. Then we'll come to know, or we'll just discuss in a short, what is IPR, that is intellectual property rights. Then we'll discuss in short artificial intelligence, and the most important question at the last, that is why this particular IPR and artificial intelligence need to be integrated or to be studied and discussed well in advance, because after 10 to 15 years there may not be such particular chance for us to discuss these particular points. Now to start with, now I'll start with this lecture with the first point, that is why I have chosen this particular topic. Now this topic starts with intellectual property right and then it ends with artificial intelligence. Now see, human race or a human being for last so many decades or years, from the start of its evolution on this earth, is unique than other animals, birds, insects, and other things. Now, you know that a human being is capable of inventing and innovating compared to the other insects, animals, and birds on the earth. Now, what is that particular specialty? That our brain is having this particular capacity to think, to execute, to add the value into the existing system and create something so that it gives us a facility to have a good life. That means a value addition. Now try to compare the other birds, insects, and other things. They are still in the race of satisfying the basic needs. While a human being has crossed that particular point, and even we have gone to esteem needs also, and now our needs are beyond esteem needs also. That means now we want to, in short, do work which is highly specialized for human being, while the rest of the work, say for example, the physical work and other things, we expect that some machines should do all these things. That means in the industrial revolution, initially mechanization was our target, so that the body efforts will be done by the machines. Then later on it was converted into automation, and now we are entering into artificial intelligence. Now in this artificial intelligence, now we know that in day-to-day life we are using artificial intelligence lot many times, starting from a fuzzy logic of a simple washing machine to a auto focusing of our camera on an object with a mobile, guiding us with the help of navigation system through, say, Google, or getting certain information by typing some particular word on Google. Immediately you start getting lot of information. At the same time you start getting lot of advertisement, you start getting lot of audios and videos in connection with that. That means a simple one word links so many things, starting from text to audios and videos, which we have come across within, say, last 5 or 10 years. Now what is this? This is artificial intelligence. Now the question comes that in this particular revolution, are we going to stop this particular artificial intelligence, or it is going to progress? Now see, fortunately or unfortunately we can say, Carl Sagan, Stephen Hawking have already warned us that beyond a certain limit, don't teach the machines, otherwise they will supersede you. Now many of you have seen the movies Terminator and Robo of Rajnikant, where the machines are superseding the human power or the human brain. Now we are having lot many things in our condition, in our what you can say, the life and the experiences, that we are coming across with such a situation where brain is not capable while the machines are capable, specifically in terms of memory. Now here there is a warning that we have to stop here, so that our development in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer engineering, information technology, mechatronics, artificial intelligence, all these things will lead to such a high level generation of humanoids that these humanoids may supersede us. Now this is the problem, that we are trying to make machines like human beings, and at one level they will be superseding us. So whether artificial intelligence should be promoted to a particular level, beyond that we should not use it. Now see, there are lot many such experiences that lot many pictures were given to computers by face recognition and other techniques. It has come with another picture of the same thing, which is so true and live that if you send it to any competition, definitely will get the prize. Now see, that is the capacity of a machine. Now all of you have learned that the humanoid Sophia, that particular has earned a citizenship of Saudi Arabia. Now the days are so close to our existence that if you know some unknown person is sitting behind you, after 10 years you will be having one question, just like we say that, are you from Pune, are you from Mumbai, are you from Maharashtra, are you from India, or are you from England? Your question will be, are you natural human? That means the person who is sitting behind you or in with you may not be human being. Now, this is the condition because these particular sciences are trying to supersede the human brain power, and we have to understand all these things because we are solely characterized by the capacity of the brain to perceive, then to think, then to analyze, and to create. That means invent or innovate. Now, this is our, what you can say, the power. Now, this is for the first time in the history of mankind that somebody, I should not say somebody, but there is something which is going to challenge human power, and that will be the artificial intelligence. So, this is the fate, or this is the fate of a human brain after 10 or 20 years. Now, that's why what is my strong point is my brain, my capacity to invent, my capacity to innovate, capacity to create something so that the human life becomes easy. Now, this particular aspect is considered in my today's lecture. So, this is just a preamble for what I want to say to you, so that you can have what I'm going to explain in this lecture. So, just bear for some time. I will start with my PowerPoint presentation so that it will be easy for you to understand. I'll be talking some of the details may not be covered up till now, or some may be duplicating, but for my lecture as a linking mechanism, I will be using that particular point. So wherever that is a theoretical part, I will just make a hurry and I will just cut short, because already 3 or 4 lectures you have gone through, which has explained you all these fundamental things. So just bear for some time. I'll just share my window so that yes, can you see this particular one?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Yes, yes. Okay. Now see, the title of my lecture is Intellectual Property Rights, IPR, and Artificial Intelligence, AI. With this first slide, what I have just explained, why this topic, artificial intelligence is making encroachment. Now see, the word is encroachment. That means it is not allowing us to live in a peaceful mind, but it is encroaching on the life of human being to such an extent that days are not far away that we have to ask an unknown person, are you natural human or a humanoid? So that will be our fate in some years after this. So I'm just giving some example. In 1997, the computer Deep Blue of IBM have defeated the chess champion Garry Kasparov at the game of chess. Apple created Siri as the digital voice assistant. Google created the map assistant for our navigation. Then Alexa, Watson, Einstein are other example. A humanoid Sophia created in Hong Kong by Hanson Robotics is a citizen of Saudi Arabia. What are these signals? Machines are slowly converted into human-like beings. I'm not calling human being, human-like beings. Hence, we have to identify what is the uniqueness of human being. So that uniqueness we have to understand. So what is the uniqueness of human being? A human being is intelligent, having a brain capable of doing cognitive mental functions like perception. Using senses, we become aware or get understood. Learning, that is getting knowledge, skills through study, experience, and being taught. Memory, human brain stores and remember information. Thinking, act of consideration and reasoning or judgment of something. The output is getting dynamic knowledge with reference to time. So that is the dynamism with a human being. Now this dynamism we have to understand, and we have to understand what is the importance. Now see, IPR basically is connected with inventions. It is also connected with innovations, but we have to understand.
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Yes.
You have shared your screen, but we are only able to see blank screen here.
Is it not visible?
No, it is not visible.
Just
Only blank screen it is available in our screen.
Okay, I will just, that's why I have asked you. Just a minute. Just check it. What is the problem? I'll just repeat, no problem. I think there is some connection error.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
No, sir. Only blank screen is visible. Can you please change the slide?
Okay. Is it? Can you see now?
No, sir.
No, sir. Sir, please select entire window.
Just I will do like that. Just I will do like that. Is it visible now?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, fine.
Okay. So this was the part which I have just mentioned, as this is not that much of clarity. So what we do that generally, whenever we talk about any IPR, our aim is certain invention which is leading to innovation. So this is our target. So in this case, we have to just understand what are difference between invention and innovation. This is already known to us, but just sake for the clarity, I am just trying to repeat it. Invention, the creation of something which is new. What is innovation? The creation of something new plus its implementation and thereby the creation of value. Second point, many inventions don't become innovations because they are not implemented and never created any value. Now see, this particular point we have to note down because many of the inventions under Indian patent law or IPR is lying with IPR office. Nobody has created anything out of that particular invention. So that invention, that is the intangible part of an patent holder or a patentee or a say for example, a copyright holder, which he has already registered, but that he has not created any value or any addition of value to the society or to the human being, so that his life becomes simpler than the previous condition. So this particular is a very important aspect which is related with this invention. Innovations that are turned into innovations improve people's lives and often help us to do solve a need better than existing solution. So an invention need to be converted into innovation. Now this invention to innovation, this journey, now try to understand, this journey may be the journey of inventor, or it may be the journey of any person who want to convert an invention into a value. That means a product or a process or anything. Now here you will find that the job of invention, he may enjoy the patent or any such reserved rights, or he may not enjoy. There are many such inventions which are not reached to IPO office, which are not patented or which are not copyright or which are not given any trademark, but still that has been converted into innovation and the products and services. So this may be or may not be the work of inventor. So here try to understand that we say that there are patents, but they are not converted into the actual products or the processes. Now that is not binding on the inventor. He will just invent the things, while innovators may be the inventor or they may be some another person. Lastly, to give you a very simple logic, light bulb, the first light bulb did not create any value as they did not last for long. While the example of innovation, Edison's light bulb, years after the first light bulb, Edison created a viable product that could be used. Now this is a very important point. So a human brain can be stop its working at invention level, or it may start giving you the innovation. Now here, this may be the transformation process by the person using his knowledge, or nowadays this conversion may be using different machines, knowledge, then communication system, then artificial intelligence, then CNC machine, robotics, and so on. Now here comes the conflict, that who is the inventor, why it was not converted into innovation, and if the innovation is done, and if the inventor and the innovations are same, that what about the role of artificial intelligence? Now that becomes a very difficult condition and the problem which we'll going to discuss later on. Okay, now these are the simple first what you can say the fundamentals of getting an what you can say the invention. There are some human beings acquiring knowledge in a particular field of interest and want ownership of it. Now this is a very important point, that if you want to have the ownership of your knowledge, then the person should have a proper system and he should preserve his knowledge legally. That's why what we say, that they claim it legally and with written documents to concerned authority. And thirdly, they enjoy this intellectual property in terms of goodwill, knowledge transfer, and monetary benefits for a particular time period. These people are patentee. That means unless you wish that my knowledge is my ownership, it cannot be said as a patent or a copyright or a trademark or anything. So it must be a strong desire of a human being to have the ownership. Now this ownership is generally for a particular time period, that just like a patent, it is the Indian patent is for 20 years. Likewise, we are having this particular type of system. Now here, try to understand that human being. Now here the inventor is an identifiable human being who is having certain identity by his name, by his address. Nowadays we can say for example, Aadhaar card, all these things are identifiable. So it is known as intellectual property right unless otherwise somebody should claim your ownership. So this is generally the system. So what is IPR? So we come to a very simple logic. IPR, it is a category of property that includes intangible creations of the human intellect. Intangible creations of the human intellect. So please remember, each and every time we are using word intellect. So what is intellect? Intellect is the capacity of human brain. Now there are number of steps which we already considered. So generally, this is a four content tree of IPR. It may be more than this also. So copyright, patent, trademark, and trade secrets. Generally, they call this as the basic constitution of IPR. So in short, I will try to relate this particular point. What is patent? So patent is a legal document. Now see, these three slides are important for me. Though you have already studied this particular part or you are knowing all these details, but just to link the things with the rest of the things, I'll just try to explain this. If anything is missing from the previous lectures, you can understand from this content. Patent is a legal document granted by the government giving an inventor the exclusive right to make, use, and sell an invention for a specified number of years. So patent is defined like this. So he can make, use, and sell. So that is inventor. What is copyright? A bundle of rights given by the law to the creators of literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic work, and the producers of cinematographs, films, and sound recording. The scope and duration of protection provided under copyright law varies with the nature of the protected work. So this is copyright. So generally books and other things come into this particular purview. Then there is a trademark. What is trademark? A symbol, word, or words legally registered or established by use as representing a company or a product. So that is trademark. And generally in American patent laws, they specify typically the design or word intellectual property organization defines industrial designs as, in a legal sense, an industrial design constitutes the ornamental aspect of the article. An industrial design may consist of three-dimensional features such as the shape of an article, or two-dimensional features such as pattern, lines, or colors. Now here, these four parts which are generally identifiable, which are submitted by the person, and he enjoys the ownership of all these things for a specified period of life. So this particular point is very important because a human being is the backbone of all these things, who is identifiable. Now this identifiable personality who wished to have the ownership of his knowledge, now that particular part is included in our law. So Indian patent law take into account all these things. Till date, in the Indian Patent Act, you will find that the details of patent submitted by artificially created things by certain mechanism or the systems are not acceptable, because the first two forms, form number 2 and form number 8 of this patent act, has to declare yourself. You should have your name, then address, then say for example the Aadhaar number, phone number, and other things, so that it is identified as a human being. But nowadays the problem has arrived that due to artificial intelligence, who is going to own that particular thing? Now, who is the owner? First owner or the inventor? That becomes a problem. So that's why I have just mentioned this particular detail like this. Now, this is a simple patent filing procedure in India. That is a flow chart. Already you must have gone through this. So this is the central tree. That is filing, then publication in the patent book, then request for examination, then issuance of first examination report or AFR, then filing response, then grant notify, that has to be notified in the patent book, And finally, post grant opposite. If somebody opposite your post grant even, it may be granted or it may be refused. Now there are sub trees or the supporting tree that if required, all these things will be conducted. That is further examination report, hearing and refusal, or a pre-grant opposition. During the publication stage, somebody from any place may oppose you. So that has to be clear. Then initial procedure, hearing, then decision and refusal. So if the decision is okay, then you go and you enter into the mainstream. If the decision is refusal, then you have to go out of that particular part, and you cannot submit the same content. Then you have to just submit the rest of the things. So this particular point is patent filing procedure in India. So these two slides, this slide and the next slide, I'm just reading so that I can link all these things to the part which is for the next, what you can say, the details. That is the Indian patent rules, which are further elaborated with certain modification, and generally these modifications are coming into force with immediate effect. So generally from 1918, these acts are started to consider all these details from the point of view of artificial intelligence. So I'll just read this because this is important, so I can link all these things with the rest of the details. The Patents Act 1970, along with the Patents Rule 1972, came into force on 20th April 1972, replacing the Indian Patents and Design Act 1911. The Patent Act was largely based on the recommendations of the Iyengar Committee report headed by Justice N. Rajagopala Iyengar. One of the recommendations was the allowance of only processed patents with regard to inventions relating to drugs, medicines, food, and chemicals. So they were in the opinion that the patents for all these things, that is drugs and medicines, food and chemicals, which are generally related with the body of a human body of a human being, must be made separate, and the rest of the things must be made separate. So what was this particular recommendation? The recommendation was because if the patent is included in drugs, medicine, food and chemicals, which are supposed to be nowadays, we call them as the basic needs. Medicine also has become a basic need of a human being. If patent is there and if the patentee demands for a heavy charges, then these life-saving medicines may be of very high cost, and that will create a problem. Now I'll give you one particular example. Nowadays, in this particular epidemic period of corona, the charges for medical treatments in India and charges for medical treatments in America, US, say Germany, and I think Sweden was compared. We were complaining that the hospital charges around 3 lakh, 2.5 lakh or 4 lakhs are exorbitant, and they should not be charging so much things. But you will be astonished to know that these charges are 1/4 times that the charges in so-called developed countries. The developed countries failed to support this particular epidemic by all means, that is heavy cost of drugs, then medicines, then the supplementary services like patient service system, that is, say for example, the nurses and the boys and the medical care, they have failed miserably, because one important point that the drugs which they are using or they were using were under the laws of compensation, that is insurance. So when any drug is under the law of compensation or insurance, it get priced very heavily, and that particular price may not be affordable with a common man. So this is a very typical thing. That means they actually, the Iyengar committee has asked all these things to keep away from the patent system or the IPR system, or a devise another system for these particular thing, so that the life-saving systems and the day-to-day food and other articles should not hamper with the enjoyment of a patentee who is having the right of patent. So that should not happen. So they have mentioned this particular point. This is an old story, but still it is very good liable for our medical systems. So that's why I am just mentioning this. Okay, now the first point, assignment and licensing of copyright. Copyright is a protection, sorry. Copyright is a protection given to the creators of certain types of work as an acknowledgement of their intellectual input. So we may have a copyright. WIPO defines patent as an exclusive right granted for an invention, which is a product or a process that provides in general a new way of doing something or offers a new technical solution to a problem. So this may be the definition of patent as per WIPO. Then there may be patent specification. In order to obtain a patent, an applicant must fully and particularly describe the invention therein, claim in a complete specification. Now, here comes the major problem with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence are the programs, and in our patent specification, we have to describe the things as a complete specification. So there are at least 6 to 8 forms in any patent, and out of which one of the form is having the complete specification. That means I have to disclose everything which I have done during my patent system. Now, please remember that these particular things which I am just trying to explain you, which I have already faced during my patent, and what will be the problems if artificial intelligence enters here. That's why I'm trying to explain all these things. That is, patent specification is a very important point with artificial intelligence, which will come later on. So that particular point I'm trying to explain. Now, what can be a patent? What can be patented in India? Section 3 and 4 of Indian Patent Act 1970 specifies state exclusions to what can be patented in India. So there are certain things which can be patented, which cannot be patented. So that is clear in Indian Patent Act. And what is patent claim and types of patent claims? A patent claim is indisputably the most important part of patent specification. It defines the boundary of the patent. So what is my limitation? That limitation has to be specified. So this is called as some fundamentals of patent. And also, now you will find that there is a revision of Patent Act 1970 and Artificial Intelligence Section 2 P of the Patent Act 1970 defines the term patentee. Now here you will find some changes has already taken place. 1970. Patentee means a person for the time being entered on the register as the grantee or proprietor of the patent. 11 Section 2T defines person interested includes a person engaged in or in promoting research in the same field as that to which the invention relates. Now, this is a very important point. Interested person. A patentee is different. An interested person is different. See, for example, if I design one artificial intelligence system, the person who is actually creating the system may not be inventor, but he is part and parcel of that particular system. So what is his identity? That is questionable. So many such questions arise. So 12 Section 6 describe the list of persons who can apply for a patent. Any person claiming to be the true and first inventor of the invention. 13 Section 2Y of the Act defines the term true and first inventor. It does not include either the first importer of an invention into India. Now see, this is what we generally call as a reverse engineering. Now many times what we do that we import the components, machines, different articles outside India. Then we make a reverse engineering, and after reverse engineering, with the help of say 3D printing or other highly specialized techniques, we define all these things, make certain modifications, and that particular is registered as a patent. Now here I want to tell you one important point, that in the last 10 years, you will find that this you must also come across, that if you write or if you want to present a paper in an international journal, you approach to one particular publishing unit, and before that they ask you for the review. Now you go for review, lot many papers are there, and you will find that out of 25 papers if you review, 15 papers contain the name of Chinese people. Now this is a very typical thing. In the last 10 to 15 years this has happened, because they are well in advance to our artificial intelligence system, and they are in a hurry to register the patents on their own names, because they know that within 10 to 15 years the other countries will start copying, they will start entering into artificial intelligence, and everybody will be at par. So to obstruct these particular things, you'll find that the Chinese people are making so many papers. You take any of the journal, you'll find that 80% of the papers are from China. That means it is having the Chinese reference or paper from China or anything like that, because they want to be the true and first inventor of that particular point. You may copy it with the help of, say for example, the other techniques later on. So they want to be the true and first inventor. So this is a very typical thing. We are still lagging behind in this particular paper presentations and the claim of invention. So that's why this particular point is very important for me. So I'm just trying to explain it. It does not include either the first import or invention into India, or a person to whom an invention is first communicated from outside India. So this is a very important point. 14 section 2Y does not specifically state that the true and first inventor should be a human. Now please remember, very, very, very important point. True and the first inventor should be a human, and therefore it can be considered to be a providing a scope for the inclusions of work. True and the first inventor in Indian context must be a human being. For other countries, nowadays, they are modified this particular patent laws or IPR, where artificial intelligence is already included by AI system. But since the definition of for terms like patentee, person interested, etc., state that it should be a person, a legal person, intention of the legislature for the general purpose of the act can be understood to be favoring humans and other legal person. Thus, it is important that these enactments should be amended in order to suit the requirements of the evolving society and scientific system. Now, this is a consideration, or the what you can say the clause included, that now we are aware that the artificial intelligence system will start claiming for the patent. Now, if you go on the website of any country, including India, you will find that the first 4, if you take 10 patents submission, you will find that there will be 4 names compulsory involved. First will be IBM, second will be Toshiba, third will be Samsung, and fourth will be one company from China. Now these 4 units or these 4 organizations, what they are doing through the artificial intelligence data system, very quickly they are putting the patents on the names of the companies. Now these names of the companies have preserved their rights, and as a result of which they enjoy all these things with specific geographical and time period. Now if you consider your mobile or any such laptop, you will find that there will be 4 different columns. In the previous one, it was only one statement, made in Japan, but now you will get made in Japan, assembled in Hong Kong, distributed in China, and sold to India. Now this will be the condition. Why? Because they are enjoying all these details in a particular geographical location, and as a result of which their patents remain as it is. Right now, if you want to complain about that particular product, that product its complaint is so much difficult that you cannot identify who is the correct person to whom I should charge and I should get a compensation. This becomes a very difficult, and that too, the law says that you have to say the jurisdiction. Suppose the jurisdiction is, say, for example, in Hong Kong. For a laptop, you have to go to Hong Kong. That means the jurisdiction is in Hong Kong. So it becomes very difficult. So the Patents Act, which were previously only for the human beings and certain organization, because of the introduction of artificial intelligence, where the subsystems, sub-assemblies are manufactured at different countries, now that has created a lot of chaos in this particular patent system. Okay, so that is the part which I want to explain, or I was supposed to explain in this particular regard about what was the fundamental part of IPR. Now see here, IPR part of my lecture is over. Now what I suggest that for the time being, if anybody is having any question or query or any doubt regarding this particular point, I will ask you, or now let me have that particular feedback from you people. If anybody want to say something or anybody want to ask something about the IPR, most welcome. Otherwise, I will start with the next part, that is the artificial intelligence, which is generally known to everybody. Yes, any question, query, or any doubt regarding this, starting from the history of human being to the IPR? Okay. Okay. So what I will do that now we'll start with the next part, that is what is artificial intelligence. Now this,
sir, there is one question in a chat box, sir.
yes, chat box.
Huh.
Unfortunately, I have to go back now.
Sir, okay, sir, I will read that question.
Okay. It will be better because again I have to go back to that particular thing. Okay, just tell me. I will be glad.
The question is from Deepa Vaidya.
Okay.
Sir, while filling a patent, simultaneously journal papers from same, can it be published?
No. Now see, the requirement of a patent is that the content of your patent should not be displayed in a public domain. So that is the first point which you have to write down. Even if you have provided, say for example, any patent attorney, he will sign an MOU with you that I will not disclose this in any form, either written or in oral. Though he is your patent attorney, he is also not supposed to disclose it anywhere. So unfortunately, if you disclose all these things in a public domain, now in that case, you may lose your ownership because this particular knowledge becomes a public domain. So that becomes a very troublesome. You may file it, no problem. But if there are questions, because you already disclosed your system, people will start asking you questions and there will be objections to your patent. And during that, you have to go on solving, you have to go on answering these particular questions to the individuals, and they may not be from India, they may be from anywhere outside. So it becomes very troublesome. So what I suggest that whatever you want to file in the patent, as far as possible, don't disclose anything so that it remains until it is published in the specific complete specification through IPO. Once it is put into complete specification through IPO as a public document for objection, at that point, let people start arguing with you. But before that, if you put all these things in a public domain through papers and other publication, now people will start making the things that already this has been done. Somebody may have done something, he will immediately object you that this is already done by me. So your chances of getting a patent are there, but you have to go on giving the answers, solving their questions unnecessary. So it will be better that you keep all these things as a secret until it is published as a complete specification in IPO journal or through the IPO patent office. Yes, any other question? If anybody is having any other question, please ask. Otherwise, I will continue with this. Okay, so I'll assume that there is no question. So I'll continue with this. What is AI? Now, see, artificial intelligence is a very nowadays hot cake and the topic which all the engineering branches generally come across, and they know about artificial intelligence because we are using all these things in our day-to-day life. So this particular part is comparatively simple to understand than the IPR. So I'll just read with this. What is AI? Computer coupled with human intelligence have advanced to even make decisions on their own. So what is the speciality of AI? Decision making is the ability of AI systems. This ability of a computer system to take decisions by itself is known as artificial intelligence. So in artificial intelligence diagram, generally we have certain branching. So first is the machine learning, where deep learning and predictive analysis is there. Second is the robotics. Third is the expert system. Fourth is the language processing or NLP. Then speech, and last is the vision. So generally speech, visions, they come under the sensory part, while the rest of the things are the processing part, and some is the training part. That means the machine trained itself. So that becomes a predictive analytic or the deep learning part. So the machine starts taking the training on its own, and it becomes predictive. It can correct the problems which have occurred previously, make the correction, and take the proper decisions. So these may be the systems. Generally, the computer people will be knowing better than me. So this is generally called as the what is AI. So in short, what is AI and the AI techniques, that I will just read here, so that the last part about the AI and IPR will be covered with due course. Although a wide range of concepts and techniques are brought together for the machines to exhibit intelligent behavior, the algorithmic ability to learn complex patterns from the data is particularly successful within the purview of artificial intelligence. Listed here are some definitions of AI technique. First is the machine learning ML, uses statistical techniques to give machine the ability to learn from data without being explicitly given any instruction on how to do it. So machine learning is this learning part. Deep learning, it mimics. Now this is a very important point, where a human is creating its own competitor. In short, what we can say that artificial intelligence provided humanoids, they are the competitors of human being, because they mimic the activity in the layers of neurons in the brain to learn how to recognize complex pattern in data. Now this is the capability of human being. Now deep learning is now challenging this particular capacity. Reinforcement learning, software agents that learn goal-oriented behavior by trial and error in an environment that provides rewards or penalties for achieving that goal. So this is called as reinforcement learning. Transfer learning is there, focuses on storing knowledge gained in one problem and applying it to a different or related problem, thereby reducing the need for additional training, data, and compute. So this is transfer learning. And the last one, which was previously very famous, but nowadays it has lost certain attention. But again, people are coming to this good old-fashioned AI, just like people are using for encryption. Say, for example, the Sanskrit knowledge or the Modi Lipi, which is used in India for traditional so many years. So that is an old technique, but it carries certain important points for data protection, cyber security, and what you can say for this encryption. So good old-fashioned AI, a name given to an early symbolic AI that fell out of favor amongst researchers. So nowadays, again, this is gaining important, that the language which will have this cryptology and other details, which will save those things, generally the things which are not on the keyboard of your computer, or say your laptop, or say your mobile. If these symbols are there, then you will find that the chances of cyber security increases. So this is what are called as the AI techniques, which generally come into picture. Now there are different AI applications. Now significant economic value from artificial intelligence is drawn by applying DL on structured data, optimizing the process of delivering the product based on the consumer's time preference, or recommending movies to a user based on their profile and connected contextual knowledge. Now this we are coming across with all our Google, then Facebook and other experiences, that whenever you search for something, immediately the data regarding that particular word, the movies, then text and information with reference to that particular point go on bombarding on your computer. Yet most remarkable breakthrough of artificial intelligence is that in the recent past are reported in the field of machine perception. Now this is very important point for the content of manufacturing. Now see, if anything is in my mind, that is not sufficient. It has to be converted into a physical entity. Now this physical entity is always generated. That means you require certain machine, a cutting machine or say forming machine or something, so that it manufacture the part. Now till date, generally we were using, say for example, the destructive manufacturing technique. That means you go on removing the material and then you obtain that particular product. It may be for plastic, it may be for metals, it may be for ceramics, it may be for other materials also. But nowadays, due to the introduction of CNC and AI, we are having 3D printing systems. Now the base for 3D printing system is the constructive manufacturing. And during the constructive manufacturing, many times it is observed that the machines are having the capability, or AI is having the capability to remove the errors during manufacturing also. Just like we have studied in management, say the average methods or moving average method. So a moving average method generally takes into account the previous 3 readings and it go on improving the value of that average. In the same fashion, moving average machining is nowadays a very important concept, that in the manufacturing of any material or any manufacturing technique, now these machines themselves go on improving, and now it is stated that at one stage these artificial intelligent operated systems will be creating superior components, products, designs, pictures, voices, and all the things which we use to day-to-day life superior than man. That means it will supersede a human brain. So that is the thing. Just like a video game is trying to mislead us or try to fool us by creating certain jargons. Now in the same fashion, opposite is also true. It will go on correcting itself and it will generate the components which will be superior than what we have thought. That means it will be superseding the thinking power of human brain. So that is a very important point which you have to understand. Computer vision makes computer analyze and understand digital images or videos. Now we know that nowadays our mobile camera, if you want to take a photographs, now if you click it, it will not get clicked. unless and until it zoom itself, make a clarity that it is now a clear picture from that given distance for a given uh, sunlight or for a daylight or say night vision, and then it will take a photograph. That means it has generated its own decision making power. So a simple mobile is having this particular decision making power. Natural language processing processes and analyzes the interaction between computers and human or natural language data. Now it is very clear that many times we are getting lot many such software. You speak in English, it get translated into another language which you want. So it is natural language processing. Language processing has been evolved. Now see, all these things are slowly capturing the capacity of human senses. That means to touch, to hear, to listen, then to see, to test. All these things are slowly, due to sensor technology, are converted into a artificial system. So this is a part which is concerned, if it is considered on a bad side of this particular one, or if it is on a good side, it will be helpful for us. Speech processing analyzes speech signals, including speech recognition, natural language processing, NLP, and speech synthesis. Predictive analysis determines patterns and predicts future outcomes and trends based on the information extracted from the existing data. So this is the capacity of analysis by a huge capacity of memory of these computers and the processing system. Then robotics program robots in a way that it can interact with people and the environment in a generalized and predictable way. Now this we have already come, that you must have seen number of robots which takes its own decisions. Also it obeys the rules. That means starting from ELISA and other things, we have seen that there are serving robots which satisfy the requirements of human being. So this is a next generation. And lastly, the multi-agent collaboration explore different models and algorithms to build autonomous systems and can work seamlessly with other systems and humans. So this is multi-agent collaboration. In short, it is just like number of people communicating with each other. One person is singing, another is having a music, or he is playing some instrument. So it is multi-agent, and concert, musical concert is a multi-agent system. So somebody is singing, somebody is providing the sound with the help of sitar, somebody is making a tabla sound and other things, and it is synchronized. Similarly, this is the capacity of artificial intelligence due to information technology and the communication technology. It will be serving with reference to number of AI systems. So that is generally called as multi-agent collaboration. Now this particular point, now we are trying to understand a comparison. Now here we are starting with the comparison. Please remember that human being is having sensory organs. These sensory organs senses all the feelings, though we do not quantify. Now this is a very important subject. We do not quantify all these senses, all these experiences, all these mistakes, errors, feelings, accidents are stored in our memory. And next time we take a judgment, or we just have a certain conclusion with reference to all these details. Please remember, this particular part is not quantifiable. This is a very important point. Human brain do not require a quantification of a particular system. If a pot is hot, now if you touch it, you feel that hotness and it is comparable. But it is not that your hand say that, okay, now this is 65 degrees centigrade. It is not like that. It is the sensing, but not quantification. Now artificial systems have the sensors which immediately quantify the senses. Now as a result of which, what a human brain generally accept with its previous experience, the artificial intelligence system, they don't accept it because they require quantification. Means what? At one level, if the quantification is correct, you will find that the result given by artificial intelligence system will be correct. In short, what the question was asked right now about the publication of one particular system. In an artificial intelligence system, if you start displaying all these things, immediately the system object that this is not possible, this is against the system, and you will find that it is prohibited. But a human being, I am not aware, I cannot understand what will happen if I have published this particular information in public domain. So that is not known to me. Who will object in what fashion? I am not knowing all these things. But in an artificial intelligence system, you will find that it is quantifiable and it will object. Not only one artificial system or one particular machine or one particular humanoid or a human being, robot or a humanoid, all these things will start objecting the things. That means it is very, very specific. So inputs to AI systems must be known to us so that the output which may clash with human brain must be known to us. So that can be easily found out. So artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. It consists of artificial neural network, which are essentially computational models. That is neural network, Encyclopedia Britannica. These computational models, which are mathematical operations and a set of parameters, give output similar to human intelligence. The two main components of AI are machine learning and deep learning, and AI best described as deep supervised machine learning. With machine learning, the computer does not require step-by-step instruction to arrive at an output. The machine learns by itself to recognize patterns in data. Now, this is the learning process, similar like human being. Based on these patterns and machines, the machines or the hardware takes informed decisions just as human would. The computer, when thus allowed to learn cognitively, can handle, process, and analyze a large amount of unstructured data sets. Unstructured data is books, journals, metadata, analog data, text in email, audio file, video file, web page, health records, biomedical documents. This unstructured data encompasses the linguistic, auditory, and visual forms of human communication. Now see, this is the capacity of the system. Now this particular system, in short, is capable of working just like a human brain. Machine learning uses the forms to tag unstructured data. In the field of education, AI-based tutors can give customized training and attention to students. Now this is something very, very new to us. That means in AI systems, we can have 10 students in a class and 10 different studies are going on with the tutors. Now this is not possible for a teacher in a class of 10 students. For instance, it is used in hospital management, disease diagnostic, patient monitoring, patient outcomes, optimization of healthcare processes, clinical decision making, clinical workflow, augmentation and hospital optimization. With AI, scientists can find patterns they never knew existed. They can come up with new molecules to treat diseases. Now see, what I have done, actually this may not be directly related with the topic which I have covered, but just to know what is in the purview of AI system, this particular part is important. Now the next and very important question which we have to think for the next generation or future coming within 10 to 20 years. Will AI system get patent? As it is invention, creation, and ownership. A big question under debate, can AI-based patents are accepted? Can we accept AI-based inventions legally? Who is the owner? Because the Patent Act says that there must be owner. That means a person who is inventor has to declare himself as an inventor. But what is the problem with AI system? Can AI share a joint inventorship with human being? Now, this is first question. If yes, then there is no problem. If no, then the next problem comes. A person contributing for financing of artificial intelligence is inventor, or a person who owns the equipment of artificial intelligence system, number of computers, robots, say for example, the CNC machines and other things, he is the inventor. A person who develops algorithm for this particular stream is an inventor. Computer programs are the set of number of sub-programs. Are the programmers inventors? So this becomes a very typical system, and as a result of which nowadays we have to change the patent clause. Now, because artificial intelligence is bound to get introduced in this IPR, so we have to consider all these details. So these 2 or 3 slides will give you this fundamental idea. Number of countries like United States, South Korea, China, and Japan have already started making amendments in IPR laws. See, this particular is the state of IPR with other countries. Now, whether India or we are ready for this, till date, you'll find that unfortunately, getting a patent in India is not that much famous. What you can say, I'm calling it as a famous, because what I will get after licensing a patent or become a patentee is not known to many of the people, or majority of the people don't know. So people ask many times, if okay, you get patent, then what else? What next? Do you have money from government, or will you start a business with patent? You will get a loan from bank at a very less rate. These are the questions. They don't understand the ownership criteria of a patent, which he can has a goodwill, or he can sell it, or he can enjoy it for a certain period of time. Now that particular point is not known. Now see, the target of China is in 1 lakh people, 1500 must be patent. That is the target. Now if you consider, I am sitting in Solapur. See the average population of Solapur, if you consider 15 lakh. Now I am very much doubtful whether 15 persons are there who are having the patent. See, this is the difference. For 1 lakh, they are having the target of 1500. And in 15 lakh population in Solapur, I'm hardly doubtful that 15 persons are there having the patent. So they are very much aware of all these things which are coming in future. So that particular point must be known, so that a human being will be identified as the patentee. No doubt, AI systems will be the patentee, but in that case, the law is slightly different, and that has to be modified. So whether India is ready for this particular change. So that particular point we are trying to understand, because the last part of this is the liability of institution, educational institution, to enter into this particular field. So even the government report has stated that the burden of transferring this particular information to public, or to the industry, or to the concerned people should be transferred to educational institution, so that they can make aware all these things with such what you can say, the seminars or symposia or say lectures, so that it will be percolated to the last person of our society. So artificial intelligence and Indian IPR task force on artificial intelligence for India economic transformation. Now this is one particular task force which is generated. The task force has recently published its report, in which it has provided to the Ministry of Commerce in India these 4 points. These 4 points are general points, but at least somebody has started this particular event, so that people are known with these fundamental points in the patent. Data collection, archiving and encouraging data availability with adequate safeguards, possibility via data marketplaces or exchanges, ensuring data security, protection, privacy, and ethical use via enabling framework, both regulatory and technological, digitization of systems and processes with Internet of Things systems while ensuring safety from cyber attacks, and lastly, deployment of autonomous products, that is robots, autonomous vehicles, after careful study and mitigation of any impact on employment and safety. Now see, being a very large country with very high population, we have to consider employment and safety. So that particular employment safety part must be there. At the length of time, there are other challenges, but the ones stated above are those who need most attention. So all these 4 points they have submitted. Now see, this is a report which I have collected from Confederation of Indian Engineering Industry, CII. They have given this particular report. Some input was given to government from them, and this particular report, some extract I have just taken out. So now we will consider some modification which are done in the Indian Patent Law or the Act in 1970. Some considerations are there that we will consider in these 2 slides. Section 6 of Indian Patent Act 1970 states that an application for a patent for any invention can be made only by the true and first inventor of the invention or the persons assigned by such person. So this is a standard one. Whereas Section 2Y of the Act 1970 confines the definition of true and first inventor to the extent of excluding the first importer of an invention into India or a person to whom an invention is first communicated outside India and nothing further. These provisions do not expressly impose the requirements of an inventor to be a natural person. Now see, the total output of this lecture, which I was supposed to deliver, is this: need not be a natural person. That means a natural human being till date, up to 1970 modification, was a natural human being. That means it must be an inventor, he must be a natural human being, he should have a name, then he should have an address, he must have certain identity just like our Aadhaar card and other things. He must have filed some, say for example, income tax, that is IT return and other things. So there is an identity. So this act is now slowly changing, and here we have to understand certain repercussions of this particular point. So I'll first complete this particular point. Therefore, from a bare reading of these provisions, it may be interpreted that an AI may fall under the definition of an inventor. However, in practice, the true and first inventor is always assumed to be a natural person. See here, it is now converted, assumed to be a natural person. Thus, it will be interesting to track the jurisprudence on this front, especially the stand taken by the patent office when the true and first inventor on the patent application form is not a natural person. So these IPO offices, that is, there are 4 offices, Delhi, Calcutta, Madras and Mumbai. Now these particular 4 offices has to tackle with these particular changes. In India, already such patent filing has started, and a lot of patents are challenged in the court of law, and the things are just going on. With this court judgments, these changes will be incorporated in the Indian patent law, and you will find that there will be some amendments in the patent law later on. So now here, this is the last slide of my, what I can say, the speech. Amendments to the patent law. With the constant increasing usage of the technology, clearing of ambiguity regarding the application of patent laws, it has now become an integral issue. A uniform treatment of the artificial intelligence system will be a positive step. All the member nations of multilateral trading agreements should begin to recognize artificial intelligence by bringing an amendment to TRIP. Now, this is Agreement on Trade-Related Aspects of IPR, short form is TRIP. There is also a need of passing an AI Data Protection Act. All the AI machineries today are performing human-like function. There will be a time when these machineries will start performing better than humans. Therefore, to keep a track of the same legislation should be enforced, which could also include criminal and civil liabilities, just like our IPC, that is, which is for the criminal cases. In furtherance, it is important that government should also play an active role of a promoter and wherever required of an owner to help the incentivizing the goal of artificial intelligence for all. Now, these blue color 4 sentences are extremely important. If you are a teacher, if you belong to an academic institute, or if you are having the business of a teacher or in any teaching part. So what they say, academic institution could be shortlisted for establishing research centers to do the core research on the subject. Government should provide fiscal help to these centers for all the expenses on the research and development of the subject. It is the need of the hour that jurisprudence relating to AI should be developed, which will not only foster the development of AI, but also provide with necessary protection to it. In short, what is the requirement of these particular laws? Now see, we have started with what is human being, and now we are coming to the end with amendment of patent law. Now, this is not only related with patent. Now, as a subject matter, I have taken the patent, but this will be applicable to all sort of or all aspects of our life. That means at one stage, people are afraid that the human being will lose its senses because of the presence of these particular machinery. Now, see, already many of us who have stopped the habit of writing. So, if you start the habit of writing, your fingers will not understand how to hold the pen. You will be losing the integration of your fingers with that part of the brain which give the command that start writing. A looks like A. So how to move the pen to prepare A will be different, because nowadays what is available with us, we are having the ready-made what you can say, the keyboards, touch screens, so that we just go on typing or we just go on touching the thing. See, the writing practice now slowly we are missing, or we are losing writing practice. Similarly, we are losing some practices of languages. Very few languages nowadays are in progress. Many of the languages are becoming extinct, or they are reducing in size. Because of ready-made instruction obtained, we are losing the capacity to remember. See, in the older days where there was no Google Assistant for navigation, I used to remember all the roads, all the big identities, say for example, hotels and restaurants, so that I can move with that reference. Nowadays, you just click one particular button, then you are instructed not with the command of picture, but it is the command of voice, that you turn 50 meter, turn right, turn left, and so on. So what we are doing in our own city, we are losing the information about the city because you follow this particular system. So this is the future, and artificial intelligence will be covering all these aspects of our life. And as a result of which, you will find that it will become at one stage so much difficult for us that this particular practice of what you can say, the expression, then getting the knowledge, transferring the knowledge will be very, very less. And at one stage, was rightly pointed out by Stephen Hawking, that the machines will supersede the human being. Now, already in the start of my lecture, I have already told you that the movies like Terminator and Robots of Rajnikant has already given us these particular signs. Except the reproduction part, you will find that the robo will be superseding us, or the artificial intelligence system will be superseding us. Even nowadays, the nanotechnology and the other techniques of medical application, they are trying to prepare certain cells which can duplicate themselves, assemble with a proper external forces, and then start generating the required primary part for a human being. That means it will be the creation of artificial human being. With the same technique, you will be generating such particular persons which will look alike, which will be very smart. You may not differentiate between these particular humanoids and the human, and that's why what I have mentioned as the first point, that the days are not ahead that you will be asking a question to your next person, are you a natural human? Now this is the condition, and as the patent is the only source to differentiate one person from another person with the content of the knowledge, getting an ownership. Now knowing the details about this particular what you can say, the information through the patent, is easy to understand the impact of artificial what you can say, the intelligence. So that was the content of my lecture. So I feel that with this, at least some introduction about this hot topic which will be coming to us in near future is introduced by myself. Again, I am very much thankful to all the participants and the course coordinator for giving me the opportunity to conduct this particular session for delivering this particular IPR and AI lecture. Okay, so thank you very much. If anybody having any question, query or doubt, I will be glad to attempt for answering. Anybody having any question, query or doubt, so please ask.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am Anand Ramgude.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, how can we apply AI and ML in mechanical field in recent any latest inventions so that we can?
Okay. Now see, now all of us know about the CNC machines. Okay, the CNC machines is the what you can say, the intermediate part of our conventional systems and the artificial intelligence. So these particular machine till date, what is observed, that you require certain programming. Okay, now that particular programming may be in any form, so it is known to us. Now the artificially intelligent CNC machines, what they will do, suppose you are a mechanical engineer, you will be knowing all these things, that suppose we are doing the turning operation. Now in this turning operation, we have given certain incremental value for the turning operation, and that is measurable, because there is an consideration that there must be measurable conditions for any particular product. Now, whenever there is measurement, there is a limitation of metrology. That means the metrology will be having certain limitation for sensing it. When metrology come into picture, you know that there is a surface finish criteria. So the surface finish criteria is generated with the limitations of metrology, because we are specifying certain things. Now there are certain programs which are generated by the what you can say, the controller of Toshiba, that whenever a turning starts, now it take into account the input of metrology. That means what you are given as the command, that is so much, so millimeter and all micron or other details. While machining, taking into account the machining parameters of that particular material, which is unique. Though it is from a bar, that part of the bar is unique. So it will take into account all the factors of your speed, feed, depth of cut. And while cutting, if it starts, then you will find that after a certain time, say for example 1 millimeter, it will gather all the information about speed, feed, depth of cut, ambience, use of your fuel and other things. That program automatically get corrected for the system which you have already put forward. We have not considered all these things, and that will start generating the cut with reference to the previous knowledge. Just I have given you the example that while making the average of anything in statistics, we use generally the moving average. Now this particular type of moving average is generated into the program by Toshiba. So if a Toshiba controller is fit on your CNC program, now you have to just set your limitation. Please remember, I am stating my limitation that, okay, I am having the measurement limitation, say 10 micron. But the machine is capable of generating accuracy 1 micron. Now that is the artificial intelligence program which is fed into the controller. See, machine do not have anything with related with that. The controller is having this particular capability of learning from the environment, from the parameters which are generated from the system. So the Toshiba controller can make this particular point, and as a result of which you will find that the controlling part, decision making part, and the limitations of your statements, everything is taken care of, and the part which you will get will be having better accuracy than what you have expected. You have never expected, you have stated a limitation, it is plus or minus so and so micron or millimeter or like that, but the machine is capable of giving you the accuracy greater than that. So this is what is called as the machine learning, and Toshiba controller can do all these things. Now this is already available in the market. I think I feel that what was your question is some satisfaction is there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Is anyone wish to ask any other question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Lavnesh, sir.
Yes, Laudi sir.
Jaurkar, sir, you can switch off your screen sharing. You can stop the screen
Okay,
sharing.
okay. Sorry. Yes, I'll just stop. Good afternoon, sir. Yes.
Sir, this is your student Avinash Lavnis.
Hello.
Lavnesh,
Hello.
sir, we can very well hear you. Yeah, you can go ahead, sir. We can hear
Okay,
you.
okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, it's always a pleasure and honor to listen to you.
Thank you.
I just want to ask one thing in regard with this patent process. We always compare number of patents of ours with China's all the time.
Yes.
The number of patents, all those things. But sir, if you compare the process in concern with duration and cost of ours with China, it's a more tedious and complicated in India.
Yes.
So I just want to ask you what is your take on this, sir?
See, what I feel that there are two aspects as per my knowledge goes. Number one, before filing the patent, the homework done by the patentee is not sufficient. Even I have gone through this particular system. That means I have not read the things legally. See, from technical point of view, the content point of view, that means, say for example, how to present it, what should be the data, what should be the analysis, what should be the conclusion. Generally, a technocrat is perfect in that. But unfortunately, we are always caught in the legal points. That means either ourselves or our patent attorney, he fails to convert a technological term into a techno-legal term so that it is not objected by anybody. Many times what happens that all these things are submitted, what I feel that, okay, I have done this specification, and then the query starts from, not only from India, from other side, outsides also. And then we have to go on explaining all these things because some of the words which are not acceptable through the legal point of view, they are entered into that, and immediately a person in front of you, he will cut that particular point and he will say, now, no, you have said like this. See, we are having the habit, a technical person is having a habit to say that, generally, assume that. Now, this assume that word is not at all accepted in any patent word. That means in patent terminology, this is not at all accepted. I have to say, this is so and so. But we, by mistake or by, it is our regular practice, we write down the word like, we assume that, or I will state that. No, it should be very much affirmative. And generally, all the patents which lack in this particular time period, what I feel or what is my experience, they are just because of the legal matters, not because of the technical matter. So in technical matters, we can have very hardly one or two confusions may be there. But legal matters, there are a lot of confusion, starting from the claim of the patent to the final draft of the patent. It is very difficult, and that's why we are taking a lot of time. But nowadays, what I feel that because of this particular government, which is promoting very well for acceleration of the patent in India, lot of changes have taken place. Lot of patent examiners has been appointed. Unfortunately, for last 20 or 30 years, the patentee were lot many, but the examiners were very few. Now, what I will suggest that many of you people can appear for this patent examiner examination and become a patent examiner, though you don't have any patent on your name. Doesn't matter at all. So this is very much required, and people are in the bad need of the guidance. Now, this is my observation. Unfortunately, I also fought the same problems for my patent also. Unnecessarily, it was run for 5 years. Actually, the work content of that, which I feel was hardly for 1.5 years. But okay, I will consider 3 years. But 5 years were just because of the legal matter. So that what I feel. So this is my opinion.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Yes.
Now, if any more questions someone wish to ask, are there any questions from the audience? Javurkar sir? Else we'll switch over to the valedictory function.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for your patience listening, and thank
Right,
you,
sir.
Gajanan sir, also for your kind invitation for this lecture. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, sir. We all have experienced an amazing session by Javurkar sir. It was a desire to learn about the intellectual property and the artificial intelligence, and this has been fulfilled by Javurkar sir. It is certainly has given another outlook towards the research context, and I'm sure that all the participants have the information and the good takeaways from this session related to different types of patents, the patent filing process, and patent acts in India and as well as abroad, with consultation with the artificial intelligence. So, on behalf of the organizing committee, it's my pleasure to acknowledge the valuable contribution by Shekhar Javurkar sir. I would like to thank him for this presence, and also thank all the participants and request all of you to be, as we are ready with the valedictory function, immediately we are switching over it.